Everyone's panic buying for World War III. Tactical flashlights, paracord bracelets, freeze-dried meals that cost more per calorie than a steakhouse dinner. The prepper forums are lighting up with debates about which camouflage pattern works best in suburban Connecticut. Here's the problem. None of that saves you. You know what kills people in collapse scenarios? Dysentery, dehydration, infected cuts, vitamin deficiencies, starvation, not lack of tactical gear. The average American city has 3 days of food on the shelves. 3 days. After that, the math gets ugly fast. But while everyone's fighting over night vision goggles and bulletproof vests, there are 15 items sitting on Walmart shelves right now that actually determine whether you survive or become a statistic. Cheap, accessible, hiding in plain sight. I'm going to show you exactly what they are, how to calculate their value, and why most preppers will walk right past them. But first, here's what most preppers get catastrophically wrong about stockpiling. They picture themselves in full tactical gear, night vision goggles strapped on, communicating via encrypted radios while they navigate the wasteland. They spend thousands on camouflage patterns, paracord bracelets, and flashlights that could signal the International Space Station. It's romantic, it's cinematic, it's also completely useless for actual survival. You know what kills people in collapse scenarios? Not lack of tactical equipment. Dysentery kills people. Dehydration kills people. Infected cuts kill people. Vitamin deficiencies kill people. Starvation kills people. The human body doesn't care about your load-bearing vest. It cares about calories, clean water, and basic medical intervention. Every piece of data we have from actual collapse scenarios tells the same story. Haiti after the earthquake, New Orleans after Katrina, Venezuela during the economic implosion. The tactical gear guys died at approximately the same rate as everyone else. The people who survived had 3 things: food that didn't require refrigeration, water they could purify, and basic medical supplies to prevent infection. So we went looking. Not for the sexiest prepper gear, not for the most expensive freeze-dried meals, not for equipment that requires a YouTube tutorial to operate. We went looking for items that pass what we call the survival audit. 3 layers of evaluation that separate actual preparedness from expensive cosplay. Layer 1, caloric ROI, return on investment. How many calories does this item provide per dollar spent? How many calories per pound because you might need to move your stockpile? How long does it last without refrigeration? Can you prepare it without electricity or specialized equipment? A freeze-dried Mountain House meal costs $8 and provides 1,200 calories. That's 0.15 calories per penny. White rice in bulk costs 20 cents per 1,200 calories. That's 6,000 calories per penny. The math isn't close. Layer 2, medical triage. Does this item prevent death, manage pain, or provide comfort? In a grid-down scenario, you prioritize in that order. Antibiotics and wound care prevent death. Pain medication manages suffering. Everything else is luxury. Most prepper medical kits optimize for comfort, not survival. Layer 3, infrastructure independence. Does this work without electricity? Does it work without clean water? Does it work without specialized knowledge? A tactical water filter that requires replacement cartridges fails when you run out of cartridges. Water purification tablets work until the laws of chemistry change. These 3 layers separate the preppers who survive from the preppers who spent their last hours regretting their Amazon purchase history. Now let's see which items at Walmart actually pass the test. Before I hand you the list, you need to understand the calculus, because a shopping list without methodology is just trivia, and trivia won't save you when the trucks stop rolling. Let's break down the 3 layers in detail so you can audit any stockpile anywhere. Caloric ROI starts with a simple question. How much survival does each dollar buy? The average adult needs 2,000 to 2,500 calories per day. A family of 4 needs 8,000 to 10,000 calories daily. 30 days requires 240,000 to 300,000 calories. Do the math on your current stockpile. Most people discover they have enough food for about 5 days, maybe a week if they ration aggressively. But it's not just cost, it's weight. If you need to abandon your location, can you carry your food? Rice and beans provide massive caloric density. Canned goods are heavy, but shelf-stable. Freeze-dried meals are light, but expensive. You optimize for the scenario you're preparing for. Shelf life without refrigeration is non-negotiable. The grid fails. Your refrigerator becomes a box that smells like death. Within 48 hours, anything requiring cold storage is already gone. White rice in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers lasts 30 years. Canned beans last 3 to 5 years. Fresh produce lasts 3 days. Choose accordingly. Preparation requirements matter when fuel is scarce. Can you eat this without cooking? Can you prepare it with minimal water? In a prolonged crisis, every BTU of energy and every gallon of water is a strategic resource. Medical triage separates the critical from the convenient. Wound care prevents infection. Infection without antibiotics often means death. Diarrhea causes dehydration. Dehydration without treatment means death within days. Pain management matters, but it's secondary. You can survive pain. You cannot survive an infected wound or severe dehydration. Most prepper medical kits contain Band-Aids and aspirin. They're optimized for camping trips, not collapse scenarios. You need bulk gauze, medical tape, antibiotic ointment, oral rehydration salts, and basic OTC medications in quantity. Not variety, quantity. Infrastructure independence is the final filter. When the power goes out permanently, when the water treatment plants shut down, when the supply chain collapses entirely, does your equipment still function? Solar chargers work until they break. Hand crank radios work until the gears strip. Chemical water purification works until chemistry stops working. The items that pass all 3 layers are the items worth stockpiling. Everything else is either supplementary or a waste of money. Now let's see which 15 items at Walmart make the cut. First tier, the reliable backups. These items aren't sexy, they're boring. They're also not optional. Item 15, white rice, bulk bags. Great value brand, 25-pound bags. Let's do the math. 1 cup of uncooked white rice contains approximately 700 calories. That 25-pound bag contains about 50 cups. 35,000 calories for roughly $15. That's 2,300 calories per dollar. Compare that to any freeze-dried meal and try not to laugh. Shelf life with proper storage approaches 30 years. Buy Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers separately. Seal the rice. Store it cool, dark, and dry. It outlasts you. Preparation flexibility matters. You can boil it, pressure cook it, or if you're desperate, soak it in water for several hours and eat it semi-soft. It's not gourmet, it keeps you alive. What people miss is volume. They buy 1 bag and think they're prepared. A family of 4 eating primarily rice needs approximately 200 pounds for 90 days. That's 8 bags, minimum. Buy more. Item 14. Canned beans, multiple varieties. Black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans, doesn't matter. What matters is protein and calories in a shelf-stable package. Each 15-ounce can contain roughly 350 calories and 15 grams of protein. Rice provides calories. Beans provide protein. Together, they form a complete amino acid profile. Your body can survive indefinitely on rice and beans if you supplement with basic vitamins. It's been tested. Repeatedly, across multiple centuries and cultures. Shelf life is 3 to 5 years for canned beans. Buy the cheap store brand. You're not optimizing for taste. You're optimizing for not starving. What people miss is buying name brands. Great value canned black beans cost 80 cents. Bush's Best costs $1.60. Same calories, same protein, half the cost. Ego doesn't keep you alive. Math does. Item 13. Iodized salt, bulk. Morton's 4-pound containers. Salt is a preservative, an electrolyte, and an iodine source. Infinite shelf life if kept dry. Uses extend beyond flavoring food. You can preserve meat with salt. You can create saline solutions for wound cleaning. You can prevent iodine deficiency, which causes thyroid problems, and, if severe enough, mental impairment. The average person needs about 2 to 3 pounds of salt per year for consumption and food preservation. A family of 4 needs 10 to 12 pounds minimum. Salt is cheap. Buy extra. What people miss is quantity. They buy one container and move on. You need multiples. It weighs nothing. It costs almost nothing. There is no rational reason to underbuy salt. Item 12. Multivitamins, bulk bottles, Centrum or Equate generic, 300-count bottles. In a collapse scenario, your diet becomes carbohydrate-heavy. Rice, beans, canned goods. You're surviving, not thriving. Micronutrient deficiency kills slowly. Scurvy from vitamin C deficiency. Beriberi from thiamine deficiency. Pellagra from niacin deficiency. All preventable with basic multivitamins. What people miss is that vitamins have a shelf life. 2 to 3 years if stored properly. You need to rotate stock. But for $3 per bottle, you can afford to overbuy and replace every 2 years. Let's pause here. I know what some of you are typing right now. Why not just buy MREs? Why not stock up on Mountain House freeze-dried meals? Why mess around with bulk staples? Fair question. Let's address it with math. A case of 12 MREs costs roughly $90 to $120. Each MRE provides approximately 1,200 calories. That's 12,400 calories for $100. 1,240 calories per dollar. Remember the rice calculation? 2,300 calories per dollar. You're paying double for the convenience of pre-packaged meals. But it gets worse. A family of 4 needs 8,000 to 10,000 calories per day. That's 6 to 8 MREs daily. A 90-day supply requires 540 to 720 MREs. At $8 to $10 per MRE, you're spending $4,300 to $7,200 to feed your family for 3 months. The same family eating rice and beans. 200 pounds of rice at $15 per 25 pounds equals $120. 150 pounds of canned beans at 80 cents per 15 ounce can equals roughly $160. Total cost for 90 days, under $300. MREs have their place. Bug-out bags, mobile scenarios, short-term emergencies. But for stockpiling, for feeding a family through an extended collapse, the math doesn't work. You cannot afford to optimize for convenience when you're optimizing for survival. Back to the list. Items 11 through 8. Item 11. Peanut butter, bulk jars. 40-ounce jars, Jif or Peter Pan or store brand. Caloric density champion. 2 tablespoons of peanut butter contain 190 calories. That 40-ounce jar contains roughly 6,000 calories. $3 to $4. 1,500 calories per dollar. Plus protein and fat in one shelf-stable package. Unopened shelf life is 1 to 2 years. Opened and refrigerated isn't an option in a grid-down scenario, so buy sizes you can consume within weeks of opening. What people miss is buying natural peanut butter, thinking it's healthier. Natural peanut butter has a shorter shelf life. You're not optimizing for health, you're optimizing for calories that don't spoil. Item 10. Vegetable oil, bulk. Gallon jugs, Wesson or generic. 9 calories per gram. Fat is the most calorie-dense macronutrient on Earth. 1 tablespoon of oil contains 120 calories. Uses extend beyond cooking. Lamp fuel in an emergency. Skin protection in extreme weather. Food preservation. Shelf life is 1 to 2 years for most vegetable oils. Rotate stock regularly. Item 9. Canned tuna or chicken, bulk. 5-ounce cans. Protein without refrigeration. 3 to 5 year shelf life. Each can contains roughly 150 calories and 25 grams of protein. It's also a morale item. After weeks of rice and beans, canned chicken feels like a feast. Morale matters. Despair kills motivation. Motivation keeps you making survival decisions. Item 8. Instant oatmeal, bulk. Quaker or store brand, 50-count boxes. Fast preparation. Minimal fuel required. Each packet contains roughly 130 calories. High fiber content prevents digestive issues common in high-carb survival diets. Second tier. The force multipliers. These items don't just keep you alive, they multiply your capacity to stay alive. Item 7. Water purification tablets. Potable aqua or generic equivalent. One bottle treats 50 to 100 gallons depending on concentration. In a grid-down scenario, water becomes the primary killer. Cholera, dysentery, typhoid. All waterborne. All preventable with proper treatment. Boiling works, but requires fuel. Filters work, but clog or break. Chemical purification works until the tablets degrade. Shelf life is approximately 5 years if stored properly. What people miss is redundancy. You need multiple methods. Tablets as primary, filter as backup, boiling as final option. One method fails, you have alternatives. A family of 4 needs roughly 12 gallons of water daily for drinking, cooking, and minimal hygiene. Tablets for 90 days of backup purification capacity costs under $20. There is no excuse not to have this. Item 6. Basic first aid supplies, bulk components, not the pre-made kits. Those are overpriced and contain wrong ratios. Buy components separately. 4x4 gauze pads, 50-count boxes, roll gauze, medical tape, adhesive bandages in bulk. Wound infection in a collapse scenario is a death sentence. No emergency rooms, no antibiotics unless you stockpiled them. Basic wound care prevents infection. Clean the wound, apply antibiotic ointment, dress it properly, change dressings daily. What people miss is quantity over variety. You don't need 15 different items. You need large quantities of 5 essential items: gauze, tape, bandages, antibiotic ointment, and antiseptic. Item 5. Triple antibiotic ointment, bulk tubes. Neosporin or generic equivalent. Prevents bacterial infection in minor wounds. One infected cut can kill you without access to oral antibiotics. Shelf life is 3 to 5 years. Each tube treats dozens of minor wounds. Buy 10 tubes minimum. It's cheaper than dying from an infected blister. What people miss is that this is more strategically valuable than tactical gear. Your camouflage vest doesn't prevent sepsis. This does. Item 4. Over-the-counter medications, bulk bottles. 3 categories: pain relief, ibuprofen for inflammation, acetaminophen for fever. Diarrhea control, Imodium, antihistamines, Benadryl for allergic reactions, and as a sleep aid. Diarrhea in a collapse scenario causes dehydration. Dehydration kills within days. Imodium isn't a cure, but it buys time while you address the underlying cause. Pain management matters for functionality. You can't perform necessary tasks if you're incapacitated by pain from an injury or infection. What people miss is time frame. In a collapse, the pharmacy is closed permanently. You need 2 to 3 years of supply per person for essential medications. A 300-count bottle of ibuprofen costs $6. Buy multiples. Rotate stock before expiration. The Holy Grails. The 3 items most people walk past without a second glance. These define survival outcomes. Item 3. 5-gallon water containers, multiple. Aquatainer or Reliance brand, food-grade plastic. Water storage is survival foundation. You cannot carry enough water. You must store it. 1 gallon per person per day is the minimum for drinking only. Realistic requirements, including cooking and minimal hygiene, are 2 to 3 gallons per person daily. Family of 4 needs 8 to 12 gallons per day. 30 days requires 240 to 360 gallons. 90 days requires 700 to over 1,000 gallons. What people catastrophically miss is scale. They buy 2 or 3 5-gallon containers and consider themselves prepared. You need 20 minimum. 40 is better. Store them filled in a cool, dark location. Rotate every 6 months. Without stored water, you die in 3 days regardless of your food stockpile. This is the most critical item on this list. Item 2. Manual can openers, multiple backups. Swing away or military P-38 style. Seems obvious, seems trivial. It's neither. You have 500 cans of food. Your electric opener is useless. Your one manual opener breaks. Now you have 500 sealed containers of food you cannot access. You starve surrounded by calories. What people miss is redundancy. Buy 5 to 10. Distribute them throughout your supplies. Never assume one is enough for anything critical. Item 1. Unscented bleach, bulk, Clorox or generic, gallon jugs. Here it is. The single most important survival item at Walmart. 8 drops of unscented bleach per gallon of water kills pathogens. 1 gallon of bleach purifies thousands of gallons of water. It also disinfects surfaces, preventing disease spread in unsanitary conditions. Shelf life is 6 to 12 months before degradation. Solution is rotate stock every 6 months. At $3 per gallon, this is the highest ROI survival item available. What people miss entirely is that while they're fighting over tactical flashlights and freeze-dried meals, the actual survival essential costs $3 and sits on the bottom shelf of the cleaning aisle. Bleach purifies water. Water keeps you alive. Everything else is secondary. 15 items, 3,000 calories per dollar. But let's be clear about something. This isn't a shopping list. This is a mindset. The items themselves will vary based on your situation. Family size, dietary restrictions, climate, medical needs. But the framework remains constant. Calories over comfort. Medicine over tactical gear. Infrastructure independence over convenience. Bulk over boutique. Most preppers fail because they optimize for aesthetics. Tactical gear looks impressive. Freeze-dried meals in Mylar pouches feel professional. Expensive equipment suggests expertise. None of it matters when you're hungry. The real lesson here is strategic thinking versus reactive panic. Preparation happens before crisis. Panic happens during crisis. The difference determines who survives. Right now, today, Walmart has stock. Prices are normal. There's no panic buying yet. You can walk in and purchase everything on this list for under $500 for a family of 4. That buys 90 days of baseline survival capacity. When the crisis hits, that option disappears. Shelves empty within 24 to 48 hours. Stores get cleaned out. What remains gets price gouged. The window closes fast. History repeats this pattern every single time. COVID-19 pandemic, grocery stores stripped of toilet paper, cleaning supplies, and canned goods within days. Hurricane Katrina, stores looted or emptied before the storm even made landfall. It happens fast, and it happens predictably. The people who survive position themselves before the crisis. They accept the reality that preparation feels paranoid until suddenly it feels insufficient. They make decisions based on probability and consequence rather than social comfort. The people who don't survive spend their last hours in parking lots fighting over the last case of water, regretting every decision that led them there. Geography matters. Community matters. Skills matter. But none of it functions without the foundation. Food, water, basic medicine. Everything else is built on top of that or it collapses. Your move. Here's the plan. First, go to Walmart this week. Not next month. Not when you have more money. This week. Bring this list. Start with the top 5 if budget is limited. Bleach. Water containers. Rice. Beans. Salt. That's under $50 and covers the foundation. If you can afford more, buy more. You cannot overbuy survival essentials. There is no such thing as too much rice or too many water containers when you're preparing for extended crisis. Second, calculate your family's actual needs. Calories per person per day times number of people times target duration. 90 days minimum. 180 days better. 365 days if you can afford it and have storage space. Water requirements. 1 gallon per person per day for drinking. 2 to 3 gallons for realistic needs. Multiply by people, multiply by days. Buy enough containers. Medical supplies. 2 to 3 years per person for essential OTC medications, bulk wound care supplies, not variety packs. Third, store everything properly. Cool, dark, dry location. Basements work if they're not damp. Closets work. Under beds works. Rotate stock using first in first out method. Label everything with purchase dates. Fourth, don't stop at Walmart. This is a foundation, not a complete solution. Continue building skills. Learn water purification methods. Learn food preservation. Learn basic medical care beyond applying bandages. And build community. A stockpile without neighbors is just a delayed death sentence. You need people who know your skills, who trust you, who have vested interest in your survival because you provide value to the group. The collapse won't announce itself with sirens and warnings. It'll be a cascade. Supply chain disruption leads to shortages. Shortages lead to panic. Panic leads to violence. By the time most people realize what's happening, the window has closed. The people who survive are the ones who positioned themselves before the crisis. 15 items, 3,000 calories per dollar, one decision. Make it this week.